The NHL is terrified of the Detroit Red Wings as they've now done something that no other team has done this season. They have statistically the best goaltender in the entire National Hockey League, and we get some interesting comments from head coach Todd McLellan on why this team is different this year, and they are going to be making some noise in this year's Stanley Cup playoffs. And that's not even to mention the trades that are about to go down ahead of this year's trade deadline. We're going to break all of that and more down in this episode of Red Wings Digest. But before we get into all of that and the news, a quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. It's a brand new channel, and the support so far has been unbelievable. Almost 700 subscribers. You've blown every milestone that we had and goal that we had out of the water so far, guys. It's been unbelievable, and over 90% of you are not subscribed to the channel. So go down below, hit that free subscribe button, get to stay up to date with everything that's going on with the Red Wings. But Mark, let's get right into it. This team is impressive this year, and now they are the only team to have shut out the Colorado Avalanche this season. Very impressive, and you can see it here on the heels of a 5-0 home loss to Colorado on just Saturday, just a couple days ago. And we were talking about how the flu bug was going through the team, all of these things, how they were kind of sliding into the break. They had lost 3 in a row. They come back with a fantastic 2-0 win performance. It may have been their best win of the season, and the how may have mattered just as much. And we'll get to that because there's some interesting comments from Todd McLellan. But Mark, this is impressive. The only team this year to shut out the Colorado Avalanche, the best team in the NHL.
Listen, sometimes you lose a game. We've seen that game 5-0, but they came out red hot going in, winning this game 2-0. This is a big bounce back game. This is a game that you're going out not only against one of the best teams in the Western Conference, but statistically one of the best teams and the best team in the Colorado Avalanche, holding them to 21 shots. Going out to secure that win, Darius, this is a huge turning point. Not even saying turning point, because we know how good this team is. They're sitting one of the top teams in the Atlantic Division, just a couple points behind Tampa Bay at this moment. This is a team that is building something special, and I do want to dive into one player real quickly, or I shouldn't even say quickly, because this is a huge thing right now. We've seen John Gibson, probably the most Detroit Red Wing fans visiting game that I've experienced. I thought it was a great atmosphere, a really fun game to be a part of, and we're glad we came out on top. I know this is a player that we spoke about a lot, and I know Red Wings fans love him, but Darius, John Gibson has completely changed everything between the pipes for this team. You can see the stats. I know we have some crazy numbers, but what is your thoughts on him going out to make that statement in a 2-0 win, and also going out and saying, listen, Red Wings fans are everywhere. They're traveling. We had this awesome atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, so first of all, fantastic atmosphere. And the Avalanche this season have not lost on home ice in regulation very often, and that's something that the Red Wings were able to do again last night. It was very impressive, and it's on the back of John Gibson. I mean, players are having great performances this year. I mean, I've been on the Alex DeBrincat train for a while now. At this point, the fact that he's not going to the Olympics is a little crazy, but take a look at the stats from last night for a second. I want to get to DeBrincat as well, obviously John Gibson, but I mean, they took less penalties. They were right there in terms of all the stats. They, hit just as much as the Avalanche. They were blocking shots. I mean, it's a full performance, and I want to get to some comments from Todd McLellan as well. You look at the lineup heading into the trade deadline as well, but from Todd McLellan, no weak links. This team is going to be dangerous in the playoffs if they play like that, and we've seen them play like that multiple times this season. Yes, do they have deficiencies? Yeah, 100%, right? They're going to go out, they're going to make some type of trade at the deadline, and they're going to be a scary team. So it takes that much to beat a team like that, and they're going to have to bring that in the playoffs, and I feel like this team can do that. Now, to get back to John Gibson for a second, like you mentioned, Mark, I'm going to throw it back to you too, because I'm curious in just a second. Vezina Trophy, could it be, right? Like, it's very interesting, and I know you brought it up to me off camera. Like, he's right up there. And I think there's a case to be made at this point. Unbelievable stats. What do you think? Vezina Trophy, because I think he's one of 3 goaltenders, I think, at this point. Obviously, Sorokin's going to be up there. He's up there every year, but he's one of 3 goaltenders that could possibly win it to me.
I mean, looking at the numbers here, over the stats since December, 18-4, a 9.25, 4 shutouts, and 2 separate 8-game win streaks. This is a guy, once again, that has completely flipped the script on this team. And I'm not hating on any goaltenders within the system for the past couple of years, but looking at John Gibson, what he's done, it's been outstanding. And I want you guys down in the comments right now, go down and put Y for yes, N for no. Do you think John Gibson wins the Vezina? Because like you said, we have Sorokin, we have other other goaltenders in the NHL, but right now I would say yes, Darius. This is a guy that is playing out of his mind. I can't see him slowing down. I mean, looking at the stats again, it is phenomenal to see. I want your opinion on this as well. What is your thoughts over that 22 game sample size since December, and just the fact that we have this netminder going out and making these kind of games, going to go out and shut out a top team like that?
Yeah, I think it's this year, when you're looking at a team that has played as well as they have and they have the goaltending to back it up, I think, it's Sorokin. I think it is Vasilevsky. I think maybe one other goaltender. I mean, I don't think Connor Hellebuck's in the conversation this year. And then I think it's John Gibson. Look what he's done to the team. I mean, maybe not a Hart Trophy, but you look at all the the standings. They've only lost 4 times to Atlantic Division teams, which is insane, right? Like they're so good, and I'm excited to see what they're going to be able to do in the playoffs, because they're going to make the playoffs. It just depends on the seeding at this point. But I think to get back to this game, what John Gibson did, what the team did, this was a big game. You'd lost multiple games in a row. You're feeling good all season, but now you're heading into a break. You want to go into the break on the right foot, because if you go in there feeling bad, you don't know how you're going to come back. And I'm not saying you're going to fall that far out of the playoffs, but you want to stay in the race, right? When you look at the Atlantic Division standing itself, it's pretty tight, like between them and Tampa. If you can finish in the first seed, you're feeling pretty good, because then you're playing, as it stands right now, maybe Montreal. Buffalo has no playoff experience either. That would be a very interesting series if that ended up being the case. I mean, Boston's still in the mix too. So I think you want to give yourself the best chance possible to succeed, right? So it'll be interesting to see what they do the rest of the way. But I think they're doing themselves a lot of favors, and that was a big game to get back on track in Colorado against the best team in the NHL. And you've done something now that no other team has done. That's something to build off of heading into the break. That's something to feel good about.
And listen, Darius, I want to say the best team in the NHL, that's Detroit. Let's be honest here. Look at the numbers they're putting up with the goaltending, everything they're doing. But looking at the team, we know there's a lot that you need to add throughout the rest of this deadline. You want to get the right-handed shot defenseman. You'd like to get a 2C. And I was talking about this, where we do see a bit of a curse lifted. Now you're saying, Mark, why do we care about Shams? Why do we care about basketball? But looking at this, we know Detroit basketball, or Detroit teams in general, don't make trades. So maybe this is lifted here now. And listen, if you want to watch Pistons content, I do content on them on Pistons Digest. A little shameless plug there, but go check that out as well. But Darius, do you think maybe this is the team that truly looks, you come out on that 2-0 win, you see the standings, you see John Gibson, and maybe Yzerman sitting there, he's like, hey, I have to do something at this point.
I think that he has to make a trade. I don't know if he's thinking that, but I think he knows he has to make a trade. And when you look at the lineup, just had it up there for a few seconds, they can go into the playoffs without a center, acquiring a center, I should say, right? If there are some injuries, that could be some trouble. That could spell some trouble, of course. But when you look at the back end, they need a right shot defenseman. And I know a lot of people, and I see the comments and people talking about on social media, enough with it. We can go into the playoffs. Don't mess with the chemistry. If you can upgrade on Travis Hamonic, do it, because I don't think it's going to cost you that much, depending who you go out and get. If you're going to get a, Justin Falk, for example, it might cost you a little bit, right? And we're talking about some other options as well, like a Braden Schneider, for example. But if you can upgrade on a Travis Hamonic, that then, you bring in a Braden Schneider, let's say, I think this could be a good option moving into the future too, because Travis Hamonic's also not the youngest guy, and he's not the best player either, right? So I think you can upgrade in that area. It might cost you a little bit, but then you're looking good for the future as well. So something to keep in mind. Again, I think Axel Sandin-Pellikka is going to be a great player, but if you can put him on the third pairing, shelter him a little bit in the playoffs, now you're cooking. So I think the Red Wings are in a good spot, but I think they got to make at least one deal here ahead of the trade deadline. I feel like a lot of fans will be okay, and I want your opinion on this before we wrap up, Mark, not making a trade, and let us know down below in the comments if you're okay not making a trade. I feel like a large percentage of the fan base would be okay with that, but at the same time, if you can upgrade, I mean, the East is wide open this year, absolutely wide open. And not only that, the Panthers are not in the playoffs, or they look like they're not going to make the playoffs. And out of the West, I mean, it's Edmonton and maybe one other team I'm scared of, because the other ones beat each other up in the first 2 rounds anyway. So that'll be certainly interesting to watch. But how do you feel about that, Mark? Like, I feel like some people are okay not making a trade, but I feel like it would be wise to go out and make at least one bolster, at least the back end, I think.
And I think it's one of those things where if there's a right-handed defenseman that pops up and you can get him for relatively cheap, we see some teams panic at the last minute of the deadline saying, hey, we want to get rid of this player. Just give us a 4th, 5th, a conditional pick, whatever. Get him off our team. I think this is the sense where Stevie Yzerman can go 2 routes. Like you said, go in and say, hey, I trust everyone in this room, but I think with the players, with the fan base, with the lack of moves we've seen recently, I think it'd be nice to reward a team that's sitting so far up in the Atlantic Atlantic Division with everyone gelling right now. Of course, you don't want to change too much, but I do think it would be nice just to give them something saying, hey, you're hungry, you want to make the playoffs, here's your reward, prove that we'll continue doing this.
Yeah, 100%. And it's going to be, again, interesting to see what happens the rest of the way. And now you have the Olympic break coming up. But we're going to keep you up to date with everything that's happening with the Red Wings. There's going to be a lot of reports and a lot of rumors, even though they can't make a trade over the next couple of weeks. And not only that, a couple guys going to the Olympics, Lucas Raymond, we'll keep an eye on some other guys, right? Should be very interesting. We'll keep you guys up to date here on the channel. So if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button.